Welcome to the Drunken Zombies Podcast, the show that brings you a daily dose of addictive zombie stories. Every day we'll be serving up a fresh, chilling tale of the undead.
All in a fun, spooky way.
Right.
We're here to quench your thirst for all things zombie, from classic lore to unique twists that will leave you craving more.
I'm Adrian, and I'll be your host, guiding you through these tales of brains and mayhem.
And I'm Julia, your resident expert on folklore and all things supernatural.
I'll be here to add some context and insight to these spooky stories.
So if you are looking for masterful storytelling that keeps you on the edge of your seat,
Then hit that subscribe button and join us on this wild ride. You won't want to miss a single episode. And don't forget to rate and review. It really helps other zombie enthusiasts find us.
all right. Are you ready to dive into tonight's story?
Absolutely. Tonight we're taking you to Whispering Pines, a fading town about to face a zombie apocalypse unlike any other. We've got some great source material on zombies and shamanism.
So let's see how these topics intersect in this chilling tale.
That sounds fascinating. Small towns and the undead.
Always a recipe for a thrilling story. I'm particularly interested in how shamanism plays into this. What kind of ancient secrets are we talking about here?
Well, in this story, the zombie outbreak is intertwined with ancient secrets and folklore. It's not just about survival, it's about unraveling the mysteries of the past to combat the horrors of the present. The story starts with Sheriff John Hawthorne.
A man of tradition and the steadfast guardian of Whispering Pines.
Yeah. A man who believes the greatest battles are fought in the heart, not on a battlefield.
Little does he know he's about to face a battle that will test both his heart and his courage.
It makes you wonder if that kind of traditional mindset would hinder or help someone in a situation like this. The research you provided on the psychology of survival suggests that adaptability is key in a crisis.
That's a great point. And in this story, Hawthorne definitely has to adapt quickly. One evening, as twilight sets in, Sheriff Hawthorne starts noticing some strange things. Animals, usually calm and unbothered, are suddenly fleeing the woods in a frenzy.
Like they sense a danger that humans can't yet perceive.
That's an interesting detail. Animals often feature in folklore as having a sixth sense, especially when it comes to sensing the supernatural.
It's a classic way to build tension and foreshadow the coming danger.
Right. And then Hawthorne, being the curious and dedicated sheriff he is, decides to investigate. He heads towards the woods, following the path of the fleeing animals, and ends up at the town graveyard.
Ooh, a graveyard at twilight. Talk about setting the mood for a zombie story.
And it gets even creepier. He discovers that several of the graves have been disturbed, the earth upturned in a way that nature couldn't have done. It's like something has clawed its way out from beneath the ground.
Okay, now we are definitely in zombie territory.
Disturbed graves are a classic sign of the undead rising.
That imagery immediately conjures up those classic zombie movies where the dead rise from their graves.
You know it, and as if the disturbed graves weren't enough, Hawthorne hears a guttural growl echoing through the graveyard. This is where he comes face to face with a creature that defies all logic and reason, a zombie.
Wow. So he's thrown right into the thick of it. This isn't a slow burn. The zombie threat is immediate and personal. I wonder how that initial encounter shapes his perception of the events that follow.
That's an excellent question. Now, Hawthorne, being a man of logic, initially tries to rationalize the encounter.
He tries to convince himself it was just his imagination or stress playing tricks on him.
But deep down, he knows what he saw.
That denial phase is something we see a lot in these kinds of stories, both in fiction and real-life accounts of paranormal encounters.
It's that struggle to reconcile the impossible with our understanding of the world.
Exactly. And unfortunately for Hawthorne and the folks at Whispering Pines, the impossible is about to become their reality. At first, it's just whispers and rumors. People in Whispering Pines start sharing their own unsettling encounters, similar to Hawthorne's experience in the graveyard.
It's interesting how these stories often start with individual experiences that are easily dismissed until they become too numerous to ignore. It's like a collective awakening to a hidden reality.
That's a great way to put it. And as more and more people come forward, the whispers turn into shouts of alarm, and the town is forced to confront the truth. They have a zombie problem. Hawthorne calls an emergency town meeting, turning the town hall into a makeshift war room. Remember, this is a man who's used to dealing with petty theft and the occasional bar fight, not flesh-eating monsters.
That's a huge leap for anyone to make. It brings to mind that chapter in the shamanism book you gave me, where it talks about how shamans are often called upon to deal with threats that exist outside the realm of normal human experience.
Exactly. This is a completely new territory for Hawthorne and the townspeople, and they're completely unprepared.
So how do they prepare for the zombie onslaught? Do they board up the windows, gather weapons, that sort of thing?
Well, they do all of that, but their initial attempts at defense are pretty ineffective. Zombies, remember, don't tire, they don't fear, and they certainly don't give up easily.
And you can't reason with them. You can't negotiate. It's pure instinct driving them. The relentlessness of the undead is one of the things that makes them so terrifying.
It's terrifying, and it's demoralizing. The people of Whispering Pines start to lose hope. Their defenses are failing, their town is crumbling, and they're running out of options.
It's that siege mentality, isn't it? Trapped with danger closing in, the pressure cooker environment can bring out the best and worst in people.
Exactly. In the midst of all the chaos and despair, one person emerges with a glimmer of hope. Maggie, the town librarian, suggests that they might be approaching the problem from the wrong angle.
The librarian. Now that's an interesting twist. What does she propose?
Well, Maggie, being a lover of all things historical and arcane, remembers that the library archives contain references to ancient rituals and shamanic practices connected to the land surrounding Whispering Pines. I'm reminded of that passage in the shamanism book you provided where it talks about the deep connection between shamans and the land.
Ah, so she thinks the answer to the zombie problem might lie in the town's past.
Exactly. She believes that by understanding the source of the zombie resurrection, they might be able to find a way to stop it.
It's fascinating how in moments of crisis, we often turn to the past for answers. Sometimes the old ways hold the key to solving modern problems.
Right. And in this case, Maggie's suggestion sparks a frenzy of activity. The townspeople, desperate for any solution, start scouring the library archives, looking for anything that might help them understand and combat the zombie curse. They even start repurposing old artifacts from the town museum as potential weapons.
It's like they're finally waking up to the power of their own history. This sleepy, stagnant town suddenly needs to embrace its forgotten past to survive the present.
And it all culminates in a daring nighttime ritual at the entrance to a local cave, a place shrouded in legend and fear. Imagine this: flickering torches, whispered incantations, and a group of terrified but determined townspeople trying to appease ancient forces they barely understand.
Sounds intense. And what happens? Does the ritual work?
Well, that's where things take a turn for the worse. Remember how I mentioned unintended consequences? Let's just say that meddling with powerful forces beyond our comprehension can have disastrous results.
Uh-oh. So the ritual backfires. How badly?
Instead of calming the undead, the ritual seems to amplify their power. The ground trembles, the cave mouth gapes open like a wound in the earth, and from its depths surge even more zombies, their hunger insatiable.
That's terrifying. It reminds me of that ancient myth we discussed where the act of trying to control the dead only makes them more powerful. It's like a cautionary tale about respecting the boundaries between life and death.
It's a classic horror trope for sure. And in this story, it really drives home the point that sometimes our best intentions can have unintended and disastrous consequences.
So what happens next? Does the town fall to the zombie horde?
Not immediately, but it's a close call. The townspeople are devastated. Their attempt to fight back has backfired, and they're losing hope.
It's interesting how this story touches on the psychological effects of a zombie outbreak. It's not just about the physical threat, but also the erosion of hope, the feeling of helplessness that can set in when faced with an unrelenting enemy.
Exactly. And in this story, that sense of despair is palpable. The townspeople turn on Hawthorne, blaming him for the failed ritual and the worsening situation.
That's understandable, though tragic. When people are afraid, they often look for someone to blame. It's a primal instinct to try and make sense of chaos by assigning responsibility.
It's a classic scapegoat scenario, and Hawthorne bears the brunt of the town's anger and fear. Broken and defeated, he retreats to the library, seeking solace in the company of books.
The library seems to be a recurring symbol in this story. It represents knowledge, history, a place where answers might be found. I wonder if that's intentional on the part of the author.
It's a good point. The library acts as a sanctuary for Hawthorne, a place where he can escape the chaos and perhaps find a way to redeem himself. And it's there, in the dusty archives, that he stumbles upon a diary that holds the key to understanding the curse plaguing Whispering Pines.
A diary? Who wrote it?
It's the diary of a shaman's descendant. And within its pages, Hawthorne uncovers a shocking truth. A truth that connects the zombie outbreak to an ancient curse tied to the very land on which Whispering Pines stands. It turns out that a powerful shaman, wronged by the town's founders, placed a curse on the land. a curse that would bind the restless dead to Whispering Pines for generations to come.
Ah, so the curse is rooted in the town's history. It's like a cautionary tale about the sins of the fathers being visited upon their children.
It's a classic theme in folklore and mythology. The idea that past wrongs can have a ripple effect through time, impacting generations to come. And in this story, it adds a layer of complexity to the zombie outbreak. It's not just a random act of nature, but a consequence of past injustices.
It makes you think about the legacy of our actions, how they can shape the future in ways we might not anticipate. It's a powerful message woven into this zombie story.
And this realization is a turning point for Hawthorne. He finally understands that they've been fighting the wrong enemy. It's not just about killing zombies, it's about breaking the curse that binds them to the town.
So he needs to shift from a tactical approach to a more spiritual one. It's not just about firepower. It's about understanding the root of the problem and addressing it at its source.
Exactly. And this is where the story really starts to delve into the deeper aspects of shamanism. The diary reveals that the curse can only be broken by performing a specific ritual, a ritual that requires a deep understanding of the shaman's power and the history of the town.
That's fascinating. It suggests that true power lies in knowledge and understanding, not just brute force. It aligns with the idea that shamans are mediators between the spiritual and physical realms, using their knowledge to restore balance.
It's a concept that's often explored in zombie stories, the idea that there's more to these creatures than just mindless hunger, that there's a spiritual element at play. And in this story, the shaman's curse adds a layer of depth and intrigue to the zombie mythos.
So does Hawthorne manage to break the curse?
Well, that's where the real challenge lies. He has the knowledge now, thanks to the diary, but he still needs to convince the townspeople to trust him again and to help him perform the ritual.
That's a tall order. They've already turned on him once. It's going to take a lot of persuasion to win back their trust.
He's got his work cut out for him, for sure. But armed with the truth about the curse and a newfound determination to save his town, Hawthorne sets out to rally the people of Whispering Pines.
So what happens next? How does he convince them to help him?
He calls another town meeting, but this time it's different. He doesn't just tell them what to do. He explains the curse, the history behind it, the shaman's anger. He appeals to their sense of community, their shared heritage. He reminds them that they are not just fighting for survival, but for the soul of their town.
It's a powerful message, one that taps into something deeper than fear. It's about reclaiming their identity, their history.
And it works. The townspeople listen. They see the truth in his words. They feel a glimmer of hope rekindled, and they agree to help him break the curse.
So they're united again, ready to face the darkness together.
Exactly. And they know it's not going to be easy. The ritual is complex and dangerous. It requires specific artifacts, ingredients, and a deep understanding of the shaman's power.
It sounds like they're about to embark on a perilous quest, a journey into the heart of their town's history and the depths of their own courage.
It's a pivotal moment in the story. The townspeople have faced their fears, their doubts, and chosen to fight back, not just against the zombies, but against the darkness that has haunted their town for generations.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What happens next? Do they succeed in breaking the curse?
Well, that's a story for another time. We'll have to leave you hanging for now. But I promise you won't want to miss the thrilling conclusion of Whispering Pines.
I can't wait to hear it. This story has been a wild ride so far, full of twists, turns, and unexpected insights into the world of zombies and shamanism.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope, and that sometimes the answers we seek lie hidden in the past, waiting to be uncovered. When we left off, the people of Whispering Pines were ready to face the source of the zombie curse. Armed with knowledge from that shaman's descendants' diary and their newfound unity, they were prepared to take a stand.
It's a powerful moment in the story. When they shift from fear to determination, they've moved beyond just fighting the zombies. Now they're going to address the root cause.
Right, and that's where the ritual comes in. According to the diary, it's not a simple process. It involves gathering artifacts, going into the heart of the woods, and reciting ancient incantations.
It sounds like a delicate balance between the practical and the spiritual.
They're combining their understanding of the physical world with the respect for the supernatural.
That's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just about blasting zombies.
Right. It's about understanding their connection to the spiritual realm, the history of the town, and the shaman's curse.
It's a more nuanced approach to the zombie genre. It reminds me of some of that research on the evolution of zombie lore.
Oh, yeah.
It's moved beyond simple, mindless creatures to explore deeper cultural and spiritual implications.
Exactly. So as the townspeople gather for the ritual, the atmosphere is thick with anticipation and a touch of fear.
I bet. This is uncharted territory for them.
No guarantee of
This
success.
is incredibly tense.
They're putting their faith in ancient knowledge and hoping they're interpreting it correctly.
And that's where Maggie, the librarian, really shines.
She's become the interpreter of the diary, guiding the townspeople through each step of the ritual.
It's a testament to the power of knowledge and how it can empower anyone.
It also highlights the importance of having someone who can bridge the gap between the past and present. Someone who can translate ancient wisdom into a language that's relevant to their situation.
And as the ritual unfolds,
It's described as a spectacle of light and sound. Ancient symbols are drawn, torches are lit, the air crackles with energy.
the story really emphasizes the sensory experience, making you feel like you're right there.
Right there with them in the woods.
It's a great way to draw the reader in and make them feel the weight of the moment. It also plays into the idea that shamanic rituals are often multi-sensory experiences designed to alter consciousness and connect with the spirit world.
Then, the moment of truth arrives. As they reach the climax of the ritual, the ground begins to tremble. A cold wind sweeps through the woods, and the zombies surrounding the town start to react.
This is it, the moment they've been working towards. But it also raises the stakes. They've stirred something up, but is it what they intended?
That's the question that hangs in the air. And as the final incantation is spoken, a blinding light erupts from the center of the ritual site, engulfing the woods in an ethereal glow.
Whoa, talk about a cliffhanger. What happens next? Does a light signify success or something more sinister?
Well, that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. When the light subsides, the zombies are gone, vanished without a trace. But in their place stands the shaman's spirit, now embodied in physical form, radiating power and rage.
Oh, wow. It's like they managed to break the curse, but in doing so, they unleashed the source of the curse itself. It's like, be careful what you wish for.
And this is where the story shifts gears again. It becomes a showdown between the townspeople armed with their newfound courage and the knowledge of the shaman's history and the embodied spirit of the shaman itself.
It's not about just surviving the zombie horde anymore.
It's about confronting the root of the evil, the embodiment of the curse that's haunted their town for generations.
And this battle is described as a clash between the physical and the spiritual.
The townspeople use their knowledge of the shaman's weaknesses, they got that from the diary, while also relying on their will and determination to resist the shaman's power.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful weapons aren't physical. It's about knowledge, unity, and the strength of the human spirit.
And in the end, it's Hawthorne, the once defeated sheriff, who delivers the final blow. Using a ritual object from the town museum, he banishes the shaman's spirit back to the realm from which it came.
It's a fitting end to his character arc.
He started as a man of tradition, struggling to adapt. But through this ordeal, he's learned, he's grown, and ultimately become the leader his town needed.
With the shaman gone, the curse is truly broken.
The threat to Whispering Pines is over, and the townspeople can finally begin to rebuild their lives.
It's a hard-won victory. They've lost friends and neighbors and faced their deepest fears.
This story doesn't shy away from the cost of their struggle.
But amid the grief and loss,
There's a sense of hope and resilience. The townspeople have learned the power of unity, the importance of understanding their history, and the strength that comes from facing their fears.
it's a reminder that even when facing unimaginable horror, the human spirit can endure and even triumph. And sometimes the answers we seek are hidden in the most unexpected places.
And that concludes our telling of Whispering Pines. It's a story that blends classic zombie tropes with deeper themes of history, spirituality, and the enduring strength of the human spirit.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you found it as insightful and thrilling as we did.
And remember, if you're craving more tales of the undead, be sure to subscribe to the Drunken Zombies Podcast for a daily dose of zombie stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
Until next time, keep those doors bolted and those brains sharp.